Hello, friends. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Oh, get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, oh, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, oh, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to this present moment, here to this new beginning, here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, oh, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, oh, get ready, oh, get ready, my soul. Oh, get ready, my soul.
That was so beautiful, Laura. Thank you. One of my favorites from Dale Neamon. And this is actually a different aurora picture for the meditation. And I invite you to just drink it in and go inner in the way that you like to go for meditation. You can either close your eyes, leave your eyes open, or have them half open. But I think the important thing is to just connect with your breath right here, taking slow, deep breaths, knowing that there's nothing to do in this moment. Just soak everything in. I'm thinking, we talked a lot about rain, and I'm thinking about the cleansing power of rain. And so in my meditation, and in our meditation right now, I'm thinking about rain, just imagining it cleanse and clear and nourish things where necessary. Thinking about the winds and everything just clearing away, making way for the new. And as you imagine a place in nature, perhaps a canyon with trees and mountains, just imagine whatever creatures might be there. And right now, I'm thinking about the coyote and the rabbit and the hawk and other birds, owls, just the gentle life forms and the wisdom contained in them. And I'm thinking about being with a group of people, perhaps in a clearing, in a canyon, imagining that this group of people, like-minded souls, are all heading with you towards a clearing way in the distance. In that clearing, you can see the light of a distant fire, and the time is twilight, just like this. As you get closer to the light, you just imagine gathering around that light in the ancient way, just being surrounded by the trees that are just gently swaying, but feeling the warmth of the fire, and just gathering in a community. You find a place to sit around this great fire where you just invite anyone from your soul group, your family, your loved ones. You invite anyone from this community to be there. You're safe and warm, provided for, and you're all sharing the warmth of this light. Let's just take a moment in the silence of this outdoor sanctuary that we're making together, and just make it your own in the silence for a moment. Relax your shoulders even more. Connect with your breathing. To lead this meditation, let's just take some deep breaths together, just at your own pace. Stretch if you need to. Let's come back into the room, and so it is. Happy New Year again, everyone. I don't know what's customary in terms of saying Happy New Year. I'm thinking maybe at least a few weeks. Just a quick reminder to grab something to write with, a piece of paper and a pen if you don't have it already, because we're going to do a little bit of that work towards the end of this process. So I've been thinking about New Year's, and I love this time. And this year it feels like there's more of a sense of urgency to go forth and create change in my life that will change the world because it's all one. And so this is the beginning of a sacred cycle. And as I was talking about during the meditation, the wind and the rain, for me, it ties everything. It ties into things somehow. It's a cleansing and a clearing. So I like to think of this as this auspicious time where we can choose to begin again. And so I invite you to let this be your focus all month. For those that are going to be at the Burning Bowl on the 10th, which is just an in-person event, we're going to do uh, some more around this. A lot of letting go, um, and but I invite you to just be with these intentions that we're going to be thinking about, talking about today. Be with them all month and let them, create your own ritual around them, and feel free to edit intentions whenever you want to. And at this time, I always think about this word newing that our co-founder Myrtle Fillmore 100 years ago coined that term, and it's not in the dictionary, but newing, it really makes sense to me. I heard that Neil Donald Walsh liked to talk about nexting, and I'm going to write that down and make sure not to forget it. So it's kind of the same idea, nexting, but I like newing even better. And Myrtle Fillmore had this to say about newing. She said, "So let's view today as an opportunity to reset, not because it's a special day, but because we are consciously acknowledging the sacredness of our life in this ritual." They must have been doing a ritual when she wrote this. Knowing that each and every day offers an opportunity to start again in this newing process. The restrictions of yesterday have no power to overshadow our lives today when we realize that we are in the eternal now. She said it 100 years before Eckhart Tolle said it. And I'll say that last line again. The restrictions of yesterday have no power to overshadow our lives today when we realize that we are in the eternal now. So this newing it's really coming back to the now moment. It's a choice moment. It's a moment we can just say, forget about the past. It has no hold on me anymore. It reminds me of this scripture quote from the Apostle Paul. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Um, Along this theme, I've been watching a lot of Netflix lately, and whether you've been watching Netflix, if you've ever watched good TV, you can relate to this. Did you notice that every good story has a plot twist? So why can't our story? I mean, our own personal stories have lots of plot twists, but they are usually those that have been thrust upon us. When we think about a lot of the plot twists, things, oh, this happened and that happened. But the really sweet plot twists are the ones that we create ourselves. But sometimes we think to ourselves, oh, I can't change. I'm this way. This is the way I am. This is the way it is. This is the way they are. And that's just talk. Another thing you may notice, the shows that win the awards, the critics talk about character development. The shows that are the greatest are the ones where the characters develop over time. They don't stay stagnant. So, I believe that we're here to develop our mind and our spirit and our character, and all that affects our body. It affects everything. It's total holistic development. So that's why we chose to be here. So we can think about this as, let's create a character development arc for our own story. Um, we're capable of great change, so we can accelerate that change. There's another quote by a gentleman named Germany Kent. Actually, it could have been a woman. I don't know if Germany is typically a male or a female name. Somebody can put it in the chat. But whoever this is said, never underestimate the power you have to take your life in a new direction. That's a plot twist. Someone else on social media, 200 years later or whatever, last night I noticed this quote: Be patient with yourself. You're becoming someone you've never been before. Be patient with yourself. You're becoming someone you've never been before. That is so, we're coming into uncharted territory as an individual. We're in uncharted territory in our surroundings, in the environment, in the macro environment, in the economy, in the geopolitical atmosphere. But we are creating a new person that we are getting to know. So I love that. Be patient with yourself. You're becoming someone you've never been before. So let's begin this process of newing today, and I'll talk to you about a little bit about some of my intentions. And a friend asked me 5 years ago. She said, "What are your intention words?" And I hadn't thought about it in that way. I was thinking about more of like scripted intention statements, right? But I thought it was nice to just kind of bring it down to a word or a small phrase, and thinking about the what instead of the how, thinking about the what and not worrying about the how, and thinking about the feeling tone that these words gave to me. And so some of my words have changed and some of them have remained the same each year. So I'll begin with the first one. This one is often my first word in that phrase, and that is consciously creating. Consciously creating. It's what we do at Unity. It's really built into the principles, conscious creation or co-creation. And to me, it means that we're doing it from the state of being awake instead of asleep, that we're not letting our unconscious, this is our unconscious self, this TJ Woodward talked about this last week, be in the driver's seat. We're not creating from our unhealed past. We're creating from our spiritual magnificence, right? We're not creating from generational trauma. We're choosing to stop generational, whatever that is we want to stop. It's a really powerful thing to do for us and for everyone going forward. So that's my first word is consciously creating, my phrase. The second one is connection. This one has a number of touch points for me. I want to connect more with the people in my life. I want to really strengthen the meaningness of those connections. But I also want to connect more with the God of my understanding. When we say God and all the readings and things like that, God, some people don't like the word God. Um, and it's the God of our understanding, whatever that is. It's light, it's source, and it's very unique. Our understanding and our relationship to God is very unique. And why should it be the same? It's not the same as when we were 5 years old. It's not the same as when we were 15 years old. It's a much more mature relationship and understanding. And it goes back to that word connection for me. So I want to strengthen that connection and uh, get to know the God of my understanding in a particular way. That brings me to the last word, which ties into that understanding, and that last word is trust. And I have to remember this one really comes, I can't trust without thinking about something to trust into, and that's God, but it's also grace. That's God too. But I have to remember that grace has always got me. It has always had me. And the events in my life that have happened that um, kept me from falling into deep, deep trouble. The times in my life where I thought, okay, this is a turning point, things are just going to be awful. They they weren't, or maybe they were awful for just a short bit, and then they got even better. And that's this trust. And so my intention with this trust is to proactively trust in it. Is that a little too recursive or a little too meta? Um, it's to trust in trust. Because looking back at trust, I can certainly appreciate it. I can look back at trust and grace, but to trust in these things as a manner of being, that's my third kind of touchstone intention word. So this is where I would like us to do this process together a little bit. And wait, I want to read something for the chat first. Give me a second. Da, 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 da. Plot twist can happen, Tuna says, when my little window's being blocked here. Oh, when we choose great change, not just when change is thrust upon us. Yeah, I love that. Um, okay, I digress. We're going to try this together. There's two approaches to this. One is very open and what some psychologists call diffuse thinking. It's not about logic. And I'm going to guide you through this first part, which is called classically visioning. And this comes from Michael Beckwith's life visioning that's done in many Unity and Center for Spiritual Living and other communities right now. So let's just take a moment to imagine that wonderful relationship that we have with spirit. Imagine being completely safe, completely loved, and know that this is a mystic process. And from this process, we will catch a vision that doesn't have to make sense to anyone but us. We could catch an image. We can catch words. We can catch maybe a picture of us doing something. And maybe it comes out in words and maybe it doesn't. Maybe it comes out in art or song, right? So let's just think for a moment. Close your eyes. Just take a deep breath. As we think about this question that you've heard before, but this question is appropriate to ask anytime about anything. What's the highest vision for my life in 2026? And something may come to your mind, words, pictures, thoughts, or just a feeling tone. What's the highest vision for my life in 2026? Let's go ahead and begin to journal a little bit on that. Maybe Laura, if you could just play just for about a minute while we journal on that question. What's the highest vision? And as you continue this thought, and as Laura continues to play in a moment, think about this question: what must I become or embrace to support this vision? Or keep on riffing on the vision. What must I become or embrace to support this vision? You can include in this question, what's the highest vision for my relationship? What's the highest vision for my friendship? What's the highest vision for relationships with family or friends? What's the highest relationship to me and spirit? What's the highest vision for this planet at this time? What's the highest vision for this community? What you fill in the blank, but it can be very expansive and it doesn't have to be words at all. And so let's just continue to journal kind of in and out, and I might throw some more questions your way, such as, what must I let go of to let this vision be complete? What must I stop doing? What must I start doing? Hmm. Thank you, Laura. And finally, is there anything else that I need to know? Is there anything else that I need to know? And this doesn't have to be logical at all. It just has to make sense to you. And a few more questions. If the universe was on your side, which it is, if the universe was conspiring for your success, what would you want? And I'm going to interject a quote from Abraham Hicks. There is nothing for you to go back and live over, fix, feel regret about. Every part of your life has unfolded just right. And so now, knowing all that you know from where you now stand, now what do you want? The answers are now coming forth to you. Hmm. And just keep on journaling, and I'm going to ask a few more questions. You just journal on what you want to journal on, and I'll toss questions out there for you to consider. What are your anchors? What are your solid foundations and your touchstones? What are you most proud of? What will you do for the future you? Hmm. So I'll repeat that. What are my anchors? What are you most proud of? What will you do for the future David, the future Laura, the future Margie, the future Betsy? What will you do for you? And take a nice deep breath. You can just come back to these at any time. And this question, what are your intention words? If you could choose one, two, or three intention words for 2026 and crystallize them into a word or a phrase each, what would those be? What are your intention words or themes for 2026? Let's just linger on this one for just about a minute. And in the chat afterwards, if you want to share one of your in the verbal chat. Oh, and in this chat. You can share, yeah, you can share it here, what your words were. And we'll also have time at end of service if you don't get a chance to chat on the chat. Diane has trust and faith. Wynn has peace. Connie, tolerant and flexible. I'll put mine in here again. Wynn is presence and embodiment. Dennis is Hojo, and I don't know what that means, but you can tell us about it in the end. Denise is seek and allow. David is trust. You can keep on putting those through the end of the service, or we can just say them verbally afterwards. But I'm going to just ask us to pause here a minute to let's just say a prayer together. And together, let's just bless all the intentions that are forming in this room. Wynn says play and enjoy. I like that. Let's just welcome every intention and know that these intentions are, as Marianne Williamson might say, powerful beyond measure, and they are as dynamic as we are. I know that each intention here today launches into a place. An entire process of manifestation is created when we put these intentions out into the universe. An entire process of grace, of miracles, of abundance has already begun in you, in each person here. And we send out, each of us, unconditional support for the intentional energy in this room, knowing that our intentions for our lives, even if they're just for our lives, they change the world. I'm so grateful for these, and so it is. And I'm just going to read. Deanna says, just be kind and loving. And Margie says, good health. Chris says, open mind and open heart. Marty, peace, faith, and understanding. This is a carryover from 2025 and continues to blaze in the forefront of my mind. And Karen Fontana, confidence, trust, community, come from love, centered in heart. That's wonderful. And I apologize if I missed anybody's, but we can do that a little bit more in a little bit. So um, I am complete. I'm going to read a few more. Russell says introspective evolution. Ooh, introspective evolution. Thank you, Russ. Tuna says create the life that I deserve to share with those whom I love. Uh, Janet says forgiveness, peace, and harmony. All right. So Laura, I'm going to spotlight you so you can complete this message and song.
What a wonderful process. Ah, to let go. Recognize the places that I am holding on. That'll be a good practice. Just when I take a step outside, the rain, it catches me with no warning. Right before liftoff, what was once light and airy can't catch my breath, poor sweet canary, for the weight on my body. Oh, break me, take me, climb inside. Bring me to a new divide, and I will grow to know a better me. And this time I will lift off and fly high. Lift off and fly. Ooh, fly. Just when I take a step outside, all around I see the empty spaces. No matter how many times on this flight I can barely get the height. Now I wanna soar with clean traces. Oh, break me, take me, climb inside, spirit. Bring me to a new divide, and I will grow to know a better me, a better me. And this time I will lift off and fly high. I will lift off and fly, fly high. Me and the time, we make quite a pair, and it's a solo flight with the wind in my hair. There's a quiet line between me and the air. I like it here, yeah. Oh, I like it here. Ooh, oh, oh, yeah, yeah. I like it here. Oh, break me, take me, climb inside. Bring me to a new divide. Oh, break me, take me, climb inside my heart, sweet spirit. Bring me to a new divide, and I will grow to know a better me, a better me. And this time I will lift off. And this time I will lift off, lift off, lift off and fly. Oh, I will lift off and fly, fly. I will lift off and fly. I will fly high, fly high, yeah. Let's sing. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so